Good afternoon. This is a new and special episode of 31 Branches. In this occasion, we are going to present the relation between both themes concerning context and language, and how we can pass for a native speaker of English. First, we are going to explain certain concepts and ideas related to these topics, and we'll present through a series of interviews what the general assumptions of passing as a native speaker are, and what the learning environment of the target language was. Let's start. Context must be linked with cognitive aspects and mental processes, so through them we can communicate to all people. Also, in order to understand context, we must think about social, emotional, and interpersonal functions. So, we have to take into account gender, age, personality, and personal agency, which are very important factors. In addition to this, social environment must be considered as a fundamental aspect that influences L2 learning. It has been proven that the more comfortable someone feels with the person or people whom are addressed, the better the performance. On the other hand, some people claim to be expert L2 users since they have learned a certain language for a long time and they can communicate fluently. Certain researches show that native speakers of English cannot be compared with L2 users because they have learned the same language in different moments, in different contexts, and with different approaches. Even though the cultural background of a language can be learned, the L2 user will not be able to completely fathom the symbols and ideology words and expressions convey. Native speakers can be used as a reference to know what learners of a certain language could focus on, but L2 users should compare their levels of language skills development within their own levels of progress. Thus, context is the most important element when passing as a native speaker, since the context where we learn can help us to acquire most easily the language to be a successful L2 user. From now on, we'll show you some interviews of Chilean people and foreigners to show how the acquisition of English can differ and how these people feel about it when learning a L2. Let's go! What do you think your English level is?
My name is Stephanie and I think my English level is, pretty good. It's okay.
I think my English level is between A2 and B1, like intermediate. Yeah.
Well, I think that my English level is very well, but I'm not the kind of person that can talk with people of another country.
My English level is native, I believe.
When and how did you learn English?
I started learning English in school and I think it was 1997, so a long time ago, and I learned English for 9 years in school.
I believe that I started learning English in my 11th year in school. Yeah, the second year in high school. Why? I don't know why. I don't know how it happened. I don't know. It just happened that I started learning English from nowhere. I don't know. It happened.
Well, I start to learn English when I was 13 years old because I liked too much the British music. Because the music was so beautiful, so I think the lyrics was so beautiful too. So I started to search about that lyrics and translate some lyrics, and in this way I could understand the speaking of the people that sing that songs. So I was so interested to translate that music and understand how they speak.
Okay, I started to learn English when I was about 3 years and a half. I lived in the United States for like 6 years, and basically I started learning English and Spanish at home at the same time, and that's all. Yeah.
What do you think are the characteristics someone has to have in order to pass as a native speaker?
I think the characteristics are that he shall speak fluently English, that he has a rich vocabulary, and that he doesn't make too much grammar mistakes. Yeah.
Thank you very much!
Most of all, I would say fluency and a correct usage of grammar and accuracy. Yeah, that's it.
Well, the people must be interested in how they understand the language. For example, when you see a movie and you are not people who like to listen another language, so you prefer original language and you read the subtitles. You can understand how communicate with other people just trying to see movies with subtitles. So the people need to have interest in how another people of another country they speak that language.
I mean, they have to be able to talk to another person and to communicate. I mean, they don't have to speak English perfectly, but you have to be able to communicate so you both understand. And
If we associate context and learning a second language with Chilean education, we can conclude that our context variables, such as where we live, our socioeconomical situation, or where we study, define how good we are going to be at English in the future. Given the fact that our parents pay for our studies, it depends if they can support us economically to have the opportunity to study a language, since in our country it is very expensive to afford. On the other hand, we must focus mainly on that, even though we can have problems in learning English because of our status in the society. Everything can change if we demonstrate an increasing interest in acquiring a second language. Pillar regarded that people do not really learn until there is interest in what they are learning, in this case, English language. Therefore, if you are interested in this, you will put all your effort in overcoming these difficulties, and you will fight for improving your knowledge and developing your skills, searching for cheaper solutions for this, such as English lessons for free, browsing the internet, watching movies in English with subtitles in English, among others. We can conclude that it is necessary to admit the influence that context has in the process of communicating and learning, and more important, the mental processes or cognitive aspects that make us develop these features. As Wegener mentioned, cognitive notions such as memory, perception, and consciousness must be related with social features. The interviewees shared their experiences with other people in order to give us their answers, and because they learned English at schools or university, they were involved in a different social context. Also, they told us what are the most frequent characteristics of someone who is considered a good L2 user. In order to learn and acquire language, you need to have a context. If you don't have a context, you can create your own. Your interest will create new paths of learning. Your future is as bright as your will.